Hello, welcome to the Family Law Orientation, also known as the Flow. My name is Christina. I'm an attorney who works for King County Superior Court, providing general information, not legal advice, to parties who do not have attorneys in their family law cases. In this video, we are going to be reviewing how to start a family law case in our court. Please keep in mind that the information in this video is specific to King County Superior Court. I'm going to be using some legal terms that maybe you haven't heard before. I'm going to do my best to define those terms as I'm using them, but I do have a link in the description box below to a more comprehensive legal glossary. And all the forms and instructions and websites that I mentioned in this video, we do have the links in the description box below as well. So the first step is for you to use the Family Law Facilitator's instructions that we have available on our website. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that website now. So on this website, we have instructions for virtually everything you need to do in your family law cases. We do have instructions for how to start each type of case. And so you can see here, if we click through the instructions for how to start a divorce case, all of the forms that you need are going to be listed here, along with where you can get the forms and what you need to do with those forms. So we do suggest that you start with getting the free instruction for your particular type of case. Now, there are several different types of family law cases, and you need to identify which type of case you have. So there's 3 different cases related to ending the marriage. You could have a divorce case or a legal separation case, or perhaps you're asking the court to determine that the marriage was never valid in the first place, and that's an invalidity case. We have 2 different types of cases for unmarried parents. So we have a case where you need to decide who the legal parents of a child are, and that's a deciding parentage case. You have cases where, again, for unmarried parents, they need a parenting plan or child support order to be established, and paternity has already been established for that child. We have 2 different types of cases about changing a final order of the court. So you could be asking the court to change a final parenting plan, and that's a changing parenting plan case. Or perhaps you're asking the court to change a final child support order, and that would be modifying child support case. We also have relocation cases where a primary residential parent or a parent who has about equal amount of time with a child is seeking to move with that child, and the other parent is objecting to that move. And those are your relocation cases. So all of those different types of cases have different rules and forms that you need to use. So make sure that you are using information that is intended for your particular type of case. So after you have obtained the instruction for your particular type of case about how to start that case, you're going to get the forms that are listed in those instructions. And those forms can be downloaded for free on the Washington Court's website or the King County Superior Court website. And we do have links in the description box below to both of those websites. And you do need to complete every single paragraph of those forms. All of that information in these forms tracks some legal requirements. So it's very important that every document you complete be fully completed. Okay, and then you also need to make sure that you are signing your documents. That's also required by our court rules. And please note that you can sign documents electronically. And when the petition, and that's the form that you use to start the court case, when that petition is not signed by both parties, because there is a place in the petition for the other party to sign to indicate they agree with everything in the petition, but when that petition isn't signed by both parties, and you have what's called a contested case, so the case is not agreed, then a summons is an important document that needs to be filed to make sure the case is properly started. And we're going to take a look at an example of a summons here. So this is a summons in a divorce case, and it is, again, very important that everything in this document is completely filled out. And we see very commonly information that's missing. And that means that the summons may need to be corrected and reserved to the other party. So let's prevent that mistake in the beginning here by making sure you include all of this information. So you do need to add both parties' names. So the person starting the court case, the petitioner, their name appears on the first part of the caption. And you see in the example here on the right-hand side of your screen, that's Jane Doe. And then below Jane Doe's name, we have John Doe under respondent, the other party in the court case. The case number that you see on the right-hand side of the caption, that is going to be added by the clerk's office. And then in the middle of the screen, you're seeing just a sample service address. So you want to go ahead and make sure you are adding, you as the petitioner starting the court case, that you are adding your service address, a place where you can receive legal documents in the case. And then at the bottom of the page, you need to add the court's address. So this can be either the Seattle clerk's office mailing address or the Regional Justice Center mailing address. On page 2 of the summons, there's not a lot to do here, but you do need to make sure, again, that you're dating and signing and printing your name on page 2. And again, make sure that that document is complete to prevent it having to be corrected in the future. A real quick note here about service addresses. So both parties need to provide a service address to the court. Now it's called a service address because it is different than a residential address. So it doesn't have to be the address where you actually live. It's just any valid mailing address where you can be mailed legal documents from the court and the other party. So you need to provide that address. If you do have concerns for your personal safety, Washington State does have an address confidentiality program. So you can talk to a domestic violence advocate. We have a link to a legal resource list where we have listed some programs, organizations where you can find domestic violence advocates. And we also have the website listed for the Washington State's address confidentiality program in the description box as well. And also things can change. Your court case is going to be open for usually several months. So you want to make sure you are updating the court anytime your service address is going to change. So file a notice of change of address form. We do have a link in the description box to that form, and make sure you are serving a copy of that form to all interested parties in the case. So step 3, now that your documents have been completed, you are going to be taking them to the clerk's office to file. And this is going to officially start your court case. You have 3 different ways to file your court case. So you can file in person at either the Seattle location or the Kent location of the clerk's office. You can file your documents via mail, and you can also e-file from any computer with internet access. If you do need some technical assistance with e-filing, we do have the email address there for you to get that assistance. At the time that you start your case, you are going to be asked to pay a filing fee, and that is required by state law. But if you cannot afford to pay the fee, then you can ask the court to not require that fee for you, and that's a fee waiver. Those forms and instructions are available on the clerk's office website, and we do have a link in the description box below to that information. Okay, your case is open, but there are some important things that you need to know. So you have a unique case number, and that case number needs to appear on every document that you file with the clerk's office to make sure that it gets into your particular court file. And at the time that the case is started, the clerk is giving you a case schedule with some important deadlines in there, and we're going to talk about that form a little bit later. And for the divorce, legal separation, and invalidity cases, the clerk is also giving you a temporary order setting financial restraints. And we're going to, again, talk about that form a little bit later. These are orders of the court. You need to comply with them until your case is finalized. So going back to that case schedule. So this is an important order of the court. It gives you deadlines. You have to follow these deadlines. If you don't follow the deadlines, your case could be dismissed, or you could have some other consequences. This is what page 1 of the case schedule looks like. It gives you your assigned judge. It identifies your trial date. And you can see there are categories of deadlines. So on the first page here, we see deadlines for when you need to appear in court. On page 2, we see deadlines that are grouped by like preparing for trial and required classes. So keep that in mind, that these are grouped by categories and not necessarily in chronological order. And this order is, again, only in divorce, legal separation, or invalidity cases. So the temporary order setting financial restraints, you want to read that very carefully. That, again, is automatically entered by the court at the time the case is started. And this, in general, is telling you not to change the way that you're spending money. So all the assets that existed at the time the parties separated need to be preserved for the court to be able to fairly divide those assets between the parties. So what's the next step here? So your court case is started. If the other party is not in agreement, they did not sign your petition, they need to be served with your documents. So that you're going to want to watch the video on service. And if there is an agreement on all issues in the case, then you're going to want to watch the video on how to finalize your case by agreement. And also, if you need a court decision to be made now, then you're going to want to watch the videos on motion. So nothing is automatic in our court. You'd have to file a motion to get a court decision made. Some final parting reminders for you to follow those deadlines in your case schedule. The Family Law Facilitator's office is available to answer your questions. Please visit our website. If you need to speak with the facilitator, the website is still a good place to start to make sure that you have the current information about the best way to connect with the facilitator. There are more resources in the community available to help you, so please use that legal resource list, and that link to that list is in the description box below. Thank you.